Be with you today here at CSLDallas. And welcome. We are a spiritual community deep in the heart of Texas, connecting with like-minded spirits all around the world. And you're invited to explore or dive right into our powerful teachings, practices, mystical experiences, and heart-opening connections. And today is a very special 4th of May because we are diving into the spirituality of Star Wars with our special guest speaker, Dr. Krista Noble. So join us as we will learn to grow ourselves, co-create with the universe, experience joy, all while transforming the world one life at a time. But for right now, let's get this celebration kicked off right. Get up out of your chairs and help welcome us by joining the CSLDallas music team.
Thank you for CSLDallas. Great to see you this morning here on campus. We're glad you're here. And those of you visiting with us online, thank you. We are so glad to be in community with you this morning. Let us begin, as we do every celebration, with our purpose statement. And here we go. We are radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, transforming lives. And so it is. Let me tell you about a few things coming up, and then you know what? You can always go to CSLDallas.org, click on the events tab, and see all about what is happening here on campus, online and in person. Sacred music. This is just what we need as we navigate today's personal and collective challenges. We invite you to wrap your soul in the intimate sounds of Cornell Kinderknecht's flute and reset the rhythm of your heart to Martin McCall's gentle drumming. Spend an hour and a half in the soothing vibes, the lifting melodies, and the sacred moments created by these two exceptional musicians. This is a sacred evening, and it's a gift to our CSL Dallas members. It's happening Friday, June 6th, starting at 8 p.m. Now, non-member guests, you know, they're welcome too. Family, friends of members are welcome. But you'll need to RSVP to get in. So please register the number of people you will bring so we can plan appropriately. You'll find out how to do this on our website. Like I said before, go to the special events tab that's under the events tab on our website. Easy to find. We are also thrilled to announce a very special event. It's happening on Sunday, June 15th, from 1 to 4 p.m. An afternoon designed to nourish your mind, body, and spirit. Renowned trauma recovery expert, author, and Agape, international licensed practitioner, Esther Nichols, will be here at CSL Dallas. If you have not seen Esther Nichols or know of Esther Nichols, this is one that you don't want to miss this. She'll be our special guest speaker and also a workshop facilitator for the Healing Code of Forgiveness, Freedom from Shame and Trauma. If you've ever found yourself overwhelmed by emotional triggers, reacting with anger or fear, or with feelings of unworthiness or shame, or the belief that you're not good enough, then this workshop is for you. Esther will guide us through a powerful healing experience using her proven soul recovery process to help you release old wounds, reclaim your self-worth, and walk forward in peace and in confidence. And that's not all. Our afternoon together will also include a delicious luncheon generously hosted by Joy Village. So come ready to be fed in every sense of the word and support a good cause. Learn more by going to CSLDallas.org events tab and click on the classes and workshop section. All right, now let's get ready to settle in this morning with our music team, Candy, Cleo, Denise, and Patrick, and along with our CSL Dallas band, Brad, Jonathan, and Alex. And we will center today with practitioner Carol Merlo. Thank you.
this morning as we close our eyes together, centering into that space that is the heart of God. As I recognize and know that there is only one peace, one place, one power where love always exists, I recognize that that is in every single one of us. That heart space, that heart-brain connection that happens, that chakra energy of the heart, every single aspect of our consciousness and our mind and our feelings, our connections, is that heart space. That heart space that right now we open to the peace and the power and the love that is that infinite consciousness of the divine within us. There is no space where that consciousness doesn't exist. And so I claim right now for every one of us that we live in love. We feed from that love. We celebrate that love and we give that love to one another. And so right now as we open up and share that loving space, that loving consciousness, we know that it is eternal. It is always present. It is us. We are it. We are the love that exists within us. We are that divine consciousness, that divine love, right here, right now, and there is nothing else that exists but that. And knowing that this is true, we center in, relaxing, letting it enfold us, knowing that there is no place we need to be but here, feeling whole, blessed, and loved. We affirm this together by saying, and so it is.
Denise, has Patrick shown some love. Okay, so hi, y'all. Okay. 2 shakes. So a long time ago, when I was a kid, and when you were a kid, and it was like back in the 60s and the 70s, and, you know, there was all this turmoil, except for it was just birthing, you know, birthing. We were getting rid of stuff and letting new stuff come through, civil rights movement, women's movement, all the movements. We were catapulted through that by the music. Oh, yes, yes, yes. And so, as we stand right here in this moment in time when we're going through the rebirthing and the kicking up and bringing in, we are going to go back to some of those songs, one of those songs. And if you would like to sing along, I sure enough welcome you to do so. This is written by Joni Mitchell, and it was made popular by Joni Mitchell and Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and it's called Woodstock. And we're going to do this. Alex on the drums, y'all. Y'all show some love, Alex. Jonathan on the bass. Professor Brad on the piano. Thank you so much.
Well, Candy already told you who the band was. I don't need to, but you, as they're walking out the door, just show them a little bit more appreciation. For anyone who hasn't met me before, my name is Tracy Brown, and I am so delighted to be able to invite you to join me in welcoming Dr. Krista Noble to our platform today. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She is the author of a book that is titled One with the Force, 18 Universal Truths in Star Wars. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but when I was growing up going to church, I never expected anybody to come and talk about Star Wars, right? But if anybody is going to do it, it needs to be Dr. Krista. She's a professor at the Maharishi International University. She earned her PhD there. She earned a master's in consciousness and human potential. If anybody's going to talk about Star Wars and spiritual principles, it's got to be Dr. Krista, because she's also taught not at just that university, but has been a guest speaker at so many other universities, webinars, online, and including the CSL Holmes Institute. So you know we don't bring anybody here who is not able to integrate what we teach with whatever we are talking about and how we are living. I think you'll find her to be dynamic. You'll find her to be someone who brings a lot of experience from speaking at lots of conferences. And my question for you is this. We've already done some spiritual practice. We've been taken to the 60s with the music. And now, are you ready for Dr. Krista to take us to Star Wars and beyond? Come on, bring it up.
Thank you so much, and thank you all for having me here. I am very passionate about these subjects, so I'm excited to share them with you all, especially given my connection with the Holmes Institute over the past 5 years or so. You know, there's so much commonality between what I studied and the principles I grew up with. I grew up in a family of meditators, so you know, discussing topics like Indian philosophy and stuff around the dinner table, and you know, that's my background. And so it was so great to encounter the Holmes Institute and to connect with a bunch of people quite a bit like you all. So it's great to be here. And yeah, really wonderful energy here today. You know, I'm just really glad you don't expect me to sing, because I definitely can't compete with that. But anyway, you know, as you have probably noticed, today is May 4th. And so for the Star Wars fans in the audience, I have to say, may the 4th be with you. And I want to start out with a question for you all. First of all, who has seen at least one Star Wars film? Raise your hand. Setting the bar low, I guess, but still, okay, almost everybody, nice. Is there anyone here who has never seen a Star Wars film? Any brave souls? Okay, I see a few. Well, welcome to all. The good news is, even if you have not seen Star Wars, I think you're going to resonate with the principles that we're talking about here. We're going to be talking about some very deep principles in the Star Wars films that are universal, that can be found in religions and philosophies throughout the world. So even if you don't know Star Wars, even if you're not a fan, there's still a lot in here for you today. So yes, title of my talk is The Spirituality of Star Wars. And as mentioned, it's based on my book, One with the Force, 18 Universal Truths in Star Wars. That was published by Bloomsbury back in November, so it's quite new. Exciting development for me. But we're going to start out with the question, why are the Star Wars films so popular? Because of course people love the characters and the plot, the music and the special effects. You know, all those elements are so rich. But I'm proposing that there's an even deeper reason why people resonate with these films, why they've just been phenomenally successful from the beginning and continuing until this day. And that is that the Star Wars films contain universal truths, so principles that are true for all times, all places, and all people, truths that transcend cultural, religious barriers that really go to the heart of who we are. And so these same universal principles can be found in the world religions, philosophies, and spiritual traditions, both Eastern and Western. So, my personal background is with the Vedic tradition of ancient India, and there are so many parallels there. But we see many parallels to other religions and philosophies too, like in Eastern terms, Buddhism, Taoism, Sikhism. In Western terms, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And also in Native American and First Nations cultures, we see these truths echoed, the same truths we see in the Star Wars films. And so in this talk, I will discuss the popularity of Star Wars, go into that a little bit more. Then also we'll go into George Lucas's spiritual views, and we'll wrap up with a little glimpse of some of the universal truths in Star Wars. My book outlines 18 of them. We don't have time to dive into all of them, but we're going to give you a taste of that. So let's get started. So yeah, the popularity of Star Wars. Star Wars has been phenomenally successful from the beginning. It's the second highest grossing movie franchise of all time, only after Marvel. That's the only one that's beaten it. It's the most successful film merchandising franchise. It has the Guinness World Record for that. It also holds the Guinness World Record for the most viewed movie trailer on YouTube in 24 hours. So that was when The Force Awakens came out. Everybody was so excited to see what this new era of Star Wars was going to look like, and they rushed to their computers and they watched it and broke the Guinness World Record there too. And so, so many reasons that these films are so popular. But I do think some of it comes from George Lucas's spiritual views, which he wove into these films from the very beginning. And I think most of you are already familiar with some of the basic concepts of these films, like the Force, this all-pervading, mystical energy field that shows up throughout the series. And interestingly enough, in the original Star Wars, the original draft of the Star Wars screenplay, George Lucas called it the force of others. He didn't call it the Force. But it was just that he used it in a very generic sense, like characters would say to each other, may the force of others be with you, but he never really explained it. But in later drafts, he decided to elaborate on this idea, and he also dropped the others part, so it just came to be the Force, which I think is a lot more effective from a storytelling standpoint. So, just with that context of the Force and the force of others, I want to go into some quotes by George Lucas, because that was the really cool thing for me as I was researching this book. Growing up in a family of meditators, I had looked at the Star Wars films since the time I saw them as a kid through a spiritual lens, and I could see lots of spiritual themes in them. But then you always wonder, am I just projecting onto these movies? Maybe these are just my ideas, the way I see the world, and maybe that's not what George Lucas intended at all. And so it was really cool to dig into some of George Lucas's writings and speeches and to see what he was actually thinking when he came up with this idea of the Force and the Jedi who use it. And so some quotes from George Lucas. He said, "The force of others is what all basic religions are based on, especially the Eastern religions, which is essentially that there is a force, God, whatever you want to call it." So to me, it was very interesting, this note about especially the Eastern religions, and indeed there are a lot of parallels with Eastern principles, like the Vedic principle of Brahman, so a universal consciousness that pervades everything, that is beyond the physical senses. So there was definitely this Eastern perspective heavily influencing George Lucas's screenplays. But at the same time, he had a very universal perspective in mind. He didn't just want to talk about Eastern philosophy or any particular religion or philosophy. He wanted to dig into these truths that unite all people. So this is a long quote, but I think you'll find it's rich and worth it. He says, "The Force evolved out of various developments of character and plot. I wanted a concept of religion based on the premise that there is a God and there is good and evil. I began to distill the essence of all religions into what I thought was a basic idea, common to all religions and common to primitive thinking. I wanted to develop something that was non-denominational, but still had a kind of religious reality." So that phrase in particular, the essence of all religions, this is exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying to boil everything down to its essence, to get at these core truths, and to use that to connect with people very deeply through these fun adventure films. So that quote actually continues a little longer. He said, "I believe in God and I believe in right and wrong. I also believe that there are basic tenets which through history have developed into certainties, such as thou shalt not kill. I don't want to hurt other people. Do unto others is the philosophy that permeates my work." So certainly some classic themes there that we can find in many different religions and philosophies, even though he's referencing the Bible specifically there. Another shorter quote by Lucas, he said, "I put the Force in the movies in order to try to awaken a certain kind of spirituality in young people." So again, not endorsing a particular doctrine, a particular religion, but just this idea of spirituality and trying in particular to inspire that in the youth. And he's even referred to himself as a Methodist Buddhist. So you see this very unusual and rich combination of Eastern and Western beliefs. He doesn't define himself in narrow terms like a lot of people do. And as some of you may know, George Lucas was influenced by the comparative mythologist Joseph Campbell. Campbell wrote The Hero with a Thousand Faces. So that's the work where he talks about the basic hero's journey, the archetypes of what a hero goes through as he develops and reaches his full potential. And he saw that same archetype in mythologies across the world. He really pointed to these common themes. And so, it's not surprising that someone like George Lucas, who was so influenced by Joseph Campbell, also had developed this very universal perspective on reality. And let's see. So another great quote by Lucas, he said, "All the religions are true, they just see a different part of the elephant." I figured this crowd would be familiar with that analogy, but we'll still go into it a little bit more. So yes, of course, he's referring to the parable of the blind men and the elephant, which comes from India, by the way. But according to this parable, a group of blind individuals want to know what an elephant is like. And so they go and they find one. And each person touches a different part of it. So one person touches its ear and says, "Oh, okay, an elephant is kind of flat and wide, it's like a fan." And another person touches its trunk and says, "What are you talking about? An elephant is more like a snake, it's kind of tubular and it moves." And then another person touches one of the elephant's legs, and he says, "You're both crazy. This elephant's clearly like a tree trunk. It's very strong and sturdy." And the interesting thing is that each of these people is correctly perceiving one part of the elephant, but they're also incorrectly concluding that their description encapsulates the whole animal, the whole elephant. And so this analogy has been applied to different religions and philosophies, that they're like one of the blind men. They're correctly perceiving part of the elephant, but they're missing the whole picture. And so George Lucas very much wanted to get at that whole elephant, the whole big picture, and not just at the ear or the leg or the tail. That was his whole perspective in this idea of the Force. So yeah, let's go into a few universal truths in Star Wars. Of course, again, we talked about this already, the idea of the Force, this all-pervading mystical energy field that the Jedi can tap into and use to achieve supernatural feats. And, just this theme of something that's beyond the senses, that's all-pervading, we find that in so many religions and philosophies throughout the world. Again, very much like the concept of Brahman in the Vedic tradition, But it also has similarities to the Tao in the Chinese tradition of Taoism, this flowing entity that is the essence of existence. It's similar to the Native American or First Nations idea of a great spirit, again, something you just find everywhere. It's in the air, it's within. But also in Western traditions as well, in biblical passages, for instance. There's a quote somewhere in the Bible that refers to God and says, in him we live and move and have our being. And so, whilst other aspects of the Bible may have a more anthropomorphic, more human description, human-like description of God, other passages do emphasize this abstract, all-pervading, omnipresent nature to it. Similar to Sikhism, it refers to God, but in a very abstract, all-pervading sense. So this idea of the force, it just as Lord George Lucas had intended, it just shows up in so many different religions and philosophies. And the force within, that concept is made explicit in this with this character Rey in some of the more recent Star Wars films, where the old Jedi Luke asks her to observe her surroundings, and she realizes that the force is not only pervading everything around her, but she also finds it within herself. And that's a very key theme in so many religions and philosophies, that Brahman is within, Vedic meditation styles allow the mind to naturally transcend surface level thoughts, to go inward to deeper and deeper levels, and ultimately to unite with their own essence in Brahman, their own higher self in Brahman. But we see similar themes in other traditions as well. The Tao is also said to be within. In the Bible it says the kingdom of God is within you. Native American traditions talk about the Great Spirit being within. So, even though it may be implied by the idea of this being all-pervading, I think it's worth putting attention on the fact that it is specifically within ourselves. And, in Vedic terms, it's our very essence. It's our fundamental self. The phrase, "May the force be with you," a very famous quote from the movies. Most commentators agree that was based on the Christian saying, "May the Lord be with you." And, but you could easily say, just, following a similar logic, "May the Great Spirit be with you." We can substitute these other terms. But basically, in each case, one is appealing to something that's beyond one's individual self. One's appealing to some sort of greater, more expansive, higher power, and to trying to unite with that, trying to act in accordance with that, and thereby gain its support, thereby achieve what you want to, like, destroying the Death Star. Supernatural abilities. This is, of course, something we see a lot in the Star Wars movies, everything from lifting rocks to lifting spaceships to even mind reading and a little bit of mind control. And of course, supernatural abilities, these are described in the texts of many different religions and philosophies. In Eastern traditions, supernatural abilities are associated with the development of higher states of consciousness. So when one evolves, one naturally begins to tap into that pervading essence at the basis of reality. And on that powerful level, one can manifest particular outcomes. But of course, in the Bible and Western traditions, we do also hear about miracles occurring. So that idea of supernatural abilities or supernatural occurrences we find in those Western sources as well. And, in Native American traditions, we hear about the rituals of medicine men and women, and, how they are apparently able to perform supernatural feats. So again, this theme comes up just in a lot of different traditions, just as it does in Star Wars. Meditation, that's a big one. We do see the Jedi meditating in various scenes, most notably this scene here that's Qui-Gon Jinn in The Phantom Menace. He meditates briefly at a sort of interval in between a fight with his opponent. So, his opponent's all angry and ready to kill him, and he just goes within and settles and becomes all peaceful. Of course, meditation, some form of it can be found in all sorts of religions and philosophies across the East and West. And in many cases, the goal of it is to connect with that all-pervading essence, with that Brahman, with that divine within, with that great spirit. So a very similar theme we see across these traditions. Other universal truths in Star Wars, there are so many, it's hard to summarize them here, but some ones that come to mind. Light and darkness, the light and dark sides of the Force, that tension between opposites that we see. That's certainly very evocative of various Eastern and Western traditions with regards to spiritual darkness as versus light, ignorance as versus enlightenment, that sort of thing. Certainly very much in the ancient Chinese concept of yin and yang. So there are these opposites. There's this tension between opposites that we see in the world around us. But at the same time, there's this focus on bringing balance to those opposite values, that perhaps they each play a role in evolution as long as they remain in proper balance. Other themes that come up, there's the idea of intuition, of deeper levels of the mind beyond the rational thinking mind. We see that a lot in Star Wars quotes like, search your feelings, or what's the other one off the top of my head? I have a very bad feeling about this, classic quote, but this theme of something that one directly perceives rather than having to go through a rational discourse to come to. We see that in the Star Wars films. The idea of death, death is a natural part of life. The Sith, they struggle to avoid death at all costs. And the Jedi, on the other hand, they say that death is a natural part of life. Don't fear it. It's just, Yoda says, twilight is upon me and soon night must fall. That is the way of things, the way of the Force. So they're not fighting this. They say it's a natural part of life, natural part of the cycles of life. But at the same time, they experience various forms of immortality, either the immortality of merging with this universal force, or the individual immortality of having a force spirit that continues to go on and interact. And so, we see these themes in religions as well, that on the one hand, death is a part of life, but on the other hand, death is not the ultimate end. And it's such a contrast from modern physicalist view that, of course, if the body dies, that's the end, nothing beyond that. And that's not at all what Star Wars is saying, and it's not at all what so many religions and philosophies are saying. They're saying there's something that continues, there's some sort of existence beyond death, a continuum, although they describe that in different ways. Let me make sure I'm not missing any here. There are so many. The purposefulness of life. From the perspective of the Jedi, life is not random and accidental. Obi-Wan says, in my experience, there is no such thing as luck, meaning that there is some sort of purpose, some sort of directionality behind everything that's going on. And again, we find that purposefulness in many religions and philosophies around the world. The idea of karma, in Star Wars, we see that in terms of good eventually triumphing over evil. Of course, karma is an Eastern term in Hinduism and Buddhism and various traditions like that, but we see a very similar concept in Christianity, and the idea that as you sow, so shall ye reap. And so this idea of action and reaction, and that just being a natural part of the evolution and progression of the world. And let's see, any others we can cover real quick. Non-attachment, a large part of the reason for Anakin Skywalker's downfall is his complete attachment and clinging to keeping Padme alive at absolutely any cost. And obviously we sympathize with him that he doesn't want to lose his wife, but just this utter willingness to sacrifice absolutely everything due to this attachment, it contributes to his fall to the dark side. And of course, non-attachment is a theme we find in other traditions. In Eastern terms, it's associated with, non-attachment is associated with the cultivation of those higher states of consciousness, where one is so peaceful inside that one is not clinging to things in the outer world to provide that happiness. One just finds it within. And of course, redemption, a major theme with regards to Darth Vader, or later Ben Solo, Kylo Ren. That idea that even if we've made mistakes, it's the nature of life to give us a chance to correct them, to get back on our path. So again, these themes in Star Wars that are so rich and profound, we also find them in religions and philosophies throughout the world. And also the theme of our true nature. Yoda says, luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. So this idea that we are more than our bodies, or more than any of the things that we usually cling to identify ourselves, our age or gender or nationality, ethnicity, job, all these things that we cling to, they're an important part of who we are, but from the perspective of Star Wars and also from so many religions and philosophies, we're so much more than any of those things. Our essence is far beyond any of that. And so it's another great theme that is hinted at in the Star Wars films. So as you may be getting a sense of here, this is just the tip of the iceberg, really, a very quick overview of some of these universal themes that you can find in the Star Wars films when you dig a little more deeply into the scenes. So again, in my book, I explore all these topics, one with the Force, 18 Universal Truths in Star Wars. For anyone who's interested, I do have copies with me today. They're at a discount here, so I only have 11 copies, but they're $20 a piece for anyone who's interested. Let's see. But in any case, feel free to come over and talk and introduce yourselves. I'd love to meet all of you. And my book is also available for anyone who's interested from Amazon, from Barnes & Noble, from bookshop.org. And you can also follow my professional activities at my website, which is kristanoble.com. And as you may have heard there, I will be doing a workshop a little later today. That's from 1 to 3 o'clock, where we'll be going much more deeply into these ideas, and it'll be very discussion-based with the group. So we'll all be working together to dig more deeply into these concepts. So, if you're interested, feel free to join us. Anyway, some takeaways from this talk: that the philosophy of the Jedi doesn't only apply in a galaxy far, far away. It's actually deeply relevant to everyday living. And like Luke Skywalker, we should all look within to discover the deepest truths of life, pursue our individual destinies, and strive to reach our full potential as human beings. In these ways, we can embody the wisdom of the Jedi. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Krista. We are so pleased to have you here today. And there will be the workshop this afternoon. I'll tell you more about that in just a moment. But now our greeters are coming forward with our offering baskets. Now this is the time when we show our support for CSL Dallas. We are 100% self-funded. So all the money that we have to support our campus and our activities is due to the generous contributions. So thank you for honoring your pledges. Thank you for making your gifts today, pledge or no pledge. We rely on you, we depend on you, and we're grateful for you. Let us say our abundance affirmation together. Clicker. Here it is. Here we go. Let us say our abundance affirmation together. Infinite creativeness flows through me. I am guided by spirit to recognize my inner wealth. I let go of all fear and open my hands to receive that which is mine. I know this is true for me and for CSL Dallas and our community. We are prosperous in all things as we allow divine spirit to flow through us and take form in our world. We are continuously blessed. We are a blessing to our world, and so it is. Your generous gifts really do make a difference, and there are many ways that you can give, as you see on the screen. There is a QR code in the basket. If you want to take a picture of that with your mobile device, that's a helpful way to make a contribution as well. As you have already heard, we have a second speaker in May and a workshop. The insightful and powerful Cynthia James is joining us for a very special Mother's Day celebration. She's our guest speaker and an amazing soloist, followed by a special Mother's Day luncheon that's catered by Chef Casey. Chef Casey will be bringing fritters, ham and bacon, croissants, salads, charcuterie board, fruit, and mimosas for Mom. The lunch is free, and your love offering is always gratefully accepted. At 1 p.m., Cynthia, her workshop is offering, the workshop is entitled Activating the Magic Within, Unlock Your Inner Power. And it's based on her new book titled The Kingdom of Magic and Mystery. She will guide you in exploring your inner guidance, magic, and creative power in a whole new way. Insightful, provocative, and powerful, Cynthia is a world-class leader, speaker, teacher, and coach. She brings decades of deep work on herself and with others to this special workshop. Get her book on Mother's Day or use the link that's placed in the chat, those of you at home, and she'll be signing them before the workshop. Activating the Magic Within is offered in person and online from 1 to 3:30 p.m. on Sunday, May 11th. That's next Sunday, so sign up today. Now let me ask Elena to come up. She wanted to speak to you about something special and dear to her heart.
Thank you so much, Joe. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Elena, and for a couple of years now, we are holding a gratitude circle at CSLDallas. It's all online. We do alternate in person and online, and I would love for you to join it. As you know, gratitude is one of the spiritual practices of CSLDallas, and it really is the key to all your abundance, your healing, your everything. If you can find gratitude on a more consistent basis in your life, you will see your life completely transform. So I would really want to invite you to come join me for this gratitude circle that I hold, and it's every second Monday of the month. And what it does is really just cultivating gratitude as a practice in your life. It is the start to bringing more gratitude into your life, having a gratitude practice on a more regular basis. Every gratitude circle is different. There's a theme that I have for every gratitude circle, so no gratitude circle is the same. We have a little meditation component into it, and then we really come together as a community to bring more gratitude and training our brain to look for more gratitude. Because what happens when we look for more gratitude? We find more gratitude. So that is the whole purpose of the circle, to really inspire you and encourage you to have more gratitude in your life. And if you can find a way to live in gratitude and just all the simple little things that you can find, that the fact that you woke up in the morning, the fact that you are breathing, the fact that you're here today with all of these other people, that you get to live your life. If you can live your life that way, just watch what the universe is going to deliver to you. So please join me. The next one is on the 12th of May, which is not this Monday, but the following Monday. And again, it's every second Monday of the month. There is a flyer on any table for May and June. There's a QR code you can scan to sign up. Even if you're not making, the next one, sign up. I will send you reminders when the next one is. I often do a special weekend edition if you cannot make it on a Monday. I try to make it at noon, so it is a lunchtime, so you can take a break even if you are working. But even if that is not good for you, I do offer some special weekend editions once in a while, so I can keep you posted. So if you, I would love to meet you. Come talk to me, scan the QR code, sign up. If you want to know anything more about it, I would love to have you. And thank you to all the people that keep coming to the Gratitude Circle. Jerry, Patrick, Ann, Lisa, thank you very much for coming and keeping it alive, because it is really important that we bring gratitude into our lives, and not just into your personal life, but as a community as a whole. So I really hope to see you hopefully next Monday. We are doing the in-person session on the 12th, but again, it's always online. So even if you can't make it here to CSLDallas, then you can join online. And I hope to see you then. It's at noon, from noon to 1, second Monday of the month. And just to let you know, we never go over. We are very respectful to your time. We start on time at 12 and we finish by 1 o'clock. So if you work, then you're not scrambling to get back in. But thank you so much for CSL hosting this circle. And I think they're doing a series of what circles there are at CSL Dallas. So that is why I'm here today, to kind of kick off the series of all the circles that are offered at CSL, starting with the gratitude circle. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you.
Thank you, Elena, for kicking off our gratitude circle recognition. Now, for those of you who would like to sign up for Dr. Noble's workshop today, please do so before lunch. We want to make sure we can accommodate everyone, as many folks as possible. Please use the QR code here on the PowerPoint. It's also in the flyer. Nope, it's not on here. Oh, it's on the table outside. Be sure you click the QR code, get on the website, get yourself signed up. And, oh yes, so there's a handout located on the table in Barong Lounge. And speaking of lunch, our Joy Village Youth are hosting a luncheon today. And that's really convenient because it's right before the workshop. It's $10 a plate for a sandwich. That's a choice of barbecue, pulled pork, chicken, or a vegan option. There's also beans, potato salad, and lettuce salad. Proceeds will go to our youth programs at CSL Dallas. Now, every Sunday, our spiritual coaches are available for your spiritual support. So visit them in the Peace Room located through Barong Lounge after the celebration. And for those of you who are online and want spiritual support, please go to our website, visit the Spiritual Coaches Directory under the About Us tab. Now, as you head out into Barong Lounge today, stop by the Artist Corner just through the double doors to my left and see the new works by Scott Beckel, who is our featured Artist of the Month. Scott, congratulations. He's here today so you can meet the artist as well. Put your bid on something you would like to take home. As always, it's lovely being in community with everyone. Now, please join me in standing as we sing our celebration to a close with our fantastic music team.